Feelings will get you killed on a battlefield because you're watching your friend, your brother, your dad, maybe sometimes your son getting killed in front of you. Feelings get you killed. You are not a paycheck as a man. And if all you have to offer is a paycheck, then you really have to consider what a man is. Leadership is not, provision is not just money. We have to understand that men were not designed to just suffer, because our suffering doesn't just impact us, it impacts those around us. I've never seen a lion roar to let people know I'm a lion. A lion doesn't need to impress anyone.
Mentally, we should be taken care of, just as we take care of our physical health.
Welcome back to All About Life podcast. Today we'd like to touch on the experiences or the things most immigrants face moving from one place to another. And this happens even within, if you're in a country and moving from one region to another, you could still experience these issues, but we're talking about immigrants moving from one, the comfort zone to a different place to start a life. We'll be discussing things like the mental health. We'll be discussing things like what it feels like, loneliness. We'll discuss things like cultural isolation if you move from one culture to another. We'll be talking about the coping mechanisms. We'll be talking about resilience and, the stigma that comes with therapy, which is quite interesting, right? Especially for most people, therapy is not something that we discuss in our households. We don't have parents telling us go to therapy, take care of your mental health first, and everything else falls in line, So being in the US where therapy is something people talk about, there's still a lot of stigma that comes with going to therapy, that people are ashamed to talk about therapy. People feel like it's a sign of weakness. I think after 2020, we've all come to realize that there's a lot of mental health issues that a lot of people experienced during 2020. And it's not, things have returned back to normal, but it doesn't mean your state of mind has actually returned back to normal.
Like the new normal, right?
Yeah, this is the new norm, right? And so we would like to talk about the mental health. I think that is such a big issue right now that it's the biggest issue we as humans are facing right now. And no one is talking about it because it's silent and you don't see it.
Right.
Especially on social media, everybody's laughing and smiling, showing off their houses, their cars, with their travels and all this fun things, but no one is talking about what life is like. And I think most especially men tend to struggle the most, right? Where we don't feel like we can confide in our family or friends and tell them how stressful life is, the pressure, trying to provide for your family. And when you moved somewhere, everything you knew or you've known or you're accustomed to suddenly fades away. And now you're standing from ground zero, going back up, trying to find your way back to the top or to where you once were, and you can't find it. It's not easy. There's no, hey, you're new here. Here's the roadmap. Here's the, manual to getting your life started. So I think it will be great for people to actually talk about their journey and how hard it's been and how they got back or, got to a place where they felt like now I'm part of this new system and I'm thriving. And not everyone thrives. Some people just never found it because there's no support system.
Correct.
So it's a hard place to be. And for me, it's hard, The cultural isolation part of it is hard. You move to a place, completely different culture. And now you're like, I want somebody that understands me, that understands
Where I'm coming from.
where I'm coming from, that understands that I'm different. Not in a bad way, I'm just different. And I don't always do things that make sense to the new people around me, right?
That's true.
But sometimes you don't have those people, you know? And how do you survive? How do you move forward? How do you feel like your new environment is now a home, right?
Correct.
So it's one of the things I think we should tell people when they're relocating, whether it's country or region, like these are some of the things battles you have to fight.
Right.
We don't, no retreat, no surrender. We never give up.
Right.
But it would have been nice if there was a channel of people that talked about the struggles. You know, when we first moved here, we knew what the struggles would be, and we had some sort of a playbook to help us transition much smoother.
Right, that's true.
And in most cases, the playbook differs. Depending on the community you find yourself, the playbook
Exactly.
differs, yeah.
Correct.
I think for me, moving here, I felt like I was alone a lot,
Right.
you know, and living in the state of Colorado, it's mostly white.
Yeah.
And even till now, everywhere I go, I'm usually, if not the only black person, I'm usually one of the few. You see people like, hey, hi, how you doing? And it's not that you want people like that. It just feels more comforting when you see someone that kind of looks something like you, and it took me a while, and I got used to it very quickly because I'm like, this is my life. I'm not in a place where it's predominantly, black or African or anything. And the fact that I love being around other immigrants, you find immigrants, different shapes, ethnicity everywhere, right? So you just kind of connect with people, or you run into people that have traveled the world and they're so excited to meet someone that is not an American, right? That is not American born citizen, because they want to hear your story. They want to hear why you're so, what makes you you.
You.
So it makes it easy to transition that way.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah, but back to what I was saying, speaking from a perspective of an immigrant, me specifically being an immigrant in the U.S. as the Nigerian as my home country, and reiterating what you said, moving even within the same country from a state to a different state, we have to put a couple of things into consideration. So, international immigration, coming to a different country where, everything is different from than what you knew before from where you're coming from. There's, it takes resilience and paying attention to be able to get assimilated into the culture and how it works in the new country you found yourself or you immigrated to. I would say for me personally, from a personal standpoint, immigrating here, I talked in the last two episodes of this podcast that I worked at the oil field. It was a kind of shock because the timing, my schedule was, I've never worked or I've never done anything that I have to work over the night and not sleep throughout the night and not sleep. Or not even sleep for a couple of days because you're on the field and working. And little things like that also add to your mental health and how you, lose sleep and your, let's say it's circadian rhythm, changes So at night, we know there's a certain amount of time where if we already have a rhythm of our sleep rhythm, you're used to that. And your body is also, acclimated with that. And you can work with how your sleep schedule is. But when it changes, it also affects you mentally, physically, health wise too as well. And also, like we always say, America is the home of the brave. When you come here, you have that some things. It's a no-brainer. You have to take care of your bills, your phone bills, your rent, all of that. You have to,
mortgage,
And coming from a country where probably that was not what was your main priority. Maybe moving from your home country where you were living with your family and you weren't having to take care of that, and you came here and you're just thrown into like a lion's den, and you see you have to fend for yourself and take care of all your necessities, and that can bring a lot of anxiety, and sometimes not just the anxiety, the way the fast-paced system here, how it works, because time is money. You got to know you have to be up at this time and go to work, and so that you can get paid for what you work for and pay your bills. And that can also drive you also not just being anxious, being depressed if you're not meeting up with your bills or your take meeting up or to the standard of your leave of how you want to leave, how you should feel or how you should leave. That can take a toll on your mental health. And we talked about this in the last podcast, assimilating into cultural difference. The way how it is done where you're coming from is different from how it is done here. It can come across as too, it's different. It can come across to you who hasn't been in a culture like in the American culture or in any other cultures or Western culture, and vice versa if you're traveling, because there's a lot of people who work in Africa as expatriates.
Yeah.
They face the same
the struggles.
thing. That's why it is general that we're discussing that mental health, wherever you find yourself, is very essential because of these changes in culture, changes in the way how things are done where you're from, and a different way in a different country. And as you said, I don't want to say only men, but mostly men take the whiplash of the stigma of
not
not being in the right shape of mind when you're faced with all these challenges.
And it's not that men are different than women when it comes to that. We just have a global culture where men are expected to be strong at all times, right? Women expect you to be able to lead, to do things, to, have a solid ground. All the men's expected to. So you come from a place where you're like, and we just grew up not sharing our pain with one another, right? We don't share, hey, I'm having a bad day. I'm having a rough day. My work sucks. I've worked 3 shifts now, 3 graveyard shifts. It's taking a toll on me. And the answer to when we call most guys is, suck it up, buttercup. Life goes on. You got bills to pay. True. Which is not always, women have a tendency of saying, I understand, I hear you, I see you. And just that, feeling heard, seen, understood makes such a huge difference that now it's changing. The culture surrounding that is changing. But as a man, you think people see you as a weaker person, and no one cares about your feelings, and obviously you're like, well, no one cares, and I just have to suck it up and just figure a way out, which now that's one aspect of your life, and other things are not flowing or going accordingly, then suddenly you fall into a depression, and we all know that leads to other things. But what do you think about mental health from your experience moving from one country to a different region, different culture, different expectations? Because when you're here, they don't care where you're from. They understand the culture here, what needs to be done here. If you're here, you have to do things the way when you like they say, when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Yeah.
Right? So when in the US you do as the Americans do. If you are in Costa Rica, Venezuela, Japan, you have to kind of conform to whatever that society expects, or whatever they expect. You have to live up to that if you're going to survive. So from your experience, what are the things you've had to deal with that you're like, this never crossed my mind before I moved here?
Yeah. So before I start, I'd like to give a very big shout out to the Nigerian Super Falcons for winning the 24-25 WAFCON tournament. Kudos to Nigeria. The ladies are doing well. So back to the topic at hand. Pardon me using the word depression. It can come in so many forms.
Yeah.
Now, talking from I'm going to look at it from a working man perspective now. Let me give you one instance. Or there are two instances, but one very funny one. There was a time I went to, I just got to the country, got my work permit and all that. So, all these fast jobs come around and they come and go. So I was opportuned to lock one down. It was a kind of, what do you call this? Like a carnival. It was a carnival.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, ooh, maybe I can make quick money. Then I spoke with a couple of people and I locked one down. My job there was to make lemonade and kind of, coordinate the crowd and all that. So I locked down this job and I was coordinating the customers and all that. So something happened. There was this guy, black guy, mind you. He was with, his fine girlfriend and all that. So he came around. I was like, oh, let me have one lemonade. And the lemonade we make it from scratch and all that. So the guy was trying to impress his girl. He's an American, big boy, big dude, handsome guy too. So I was like, oh, let me try and impress my customer. And the guy was like, one thing led to another. And he was like, what did you say? Come on, you're in America, speak English. And I was like, I've been speaking English all this while. So what else do you expect from me? Right. So at that point in time, it made me feel some kind of way. Because I wouldn't expect that from a black guy. We're not even talking about race right now, but in terms of, I would expect you to understand me better or try and pretend. Or even call me to the side and say, what are you saying? But he said it out loud and everybody on the line just started laughing. And some people felt some kind of way though, because they understood me quite all right. But I feel from the perspective of he was trying to impress his girl. So now I'm not even, the point of the whole story is that it's not really about what the guy said to me. It's about me trying to build my, the way people see me, the way I communicate. Because if that guy, he may, if you even look at it, he may be sincere. He may not have understood what I was trying to say. But I was like, man, I need to switch up my accent for better understanding. You understand?
Yeah.
So that alone, especially if you come from speaking as a Nigerian, if you come from certain parts of Nigeria, the accent sticks with you.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It sticks with you. So
Yes.
that is an instance. So trying to like the isolation that we're talking about is a real thing. It's not like we're trying to like it's a real thing. Like you will feel it.
It's not isolation in the sense
In the
that
sense-
you're isolated from the world.
No.
You are in the world.
In the world,
And
but
I don't want to
feel-
say this from a spiritual perspective. You're in the world, but not of the world kind of a thing. Like you're around people, but you feel all alone.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's true. When you move from a place to another place, oftentimes your accent changes. If you stay long enough,
Right,
it changes. And the reason why your accent changes is very simple. Is you start talking and people don't understand you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So out of frustration and you feel like you're not being seen or heard, you start mimicking and pronouncing things exactly the way they do, so that people understand
you better.
and hence your accent changes, right?
Right.
Because now you're pronouncing things the way you never,
Yeah.
you didn't think to say.
Right.
There were words that when I was around, Americans back home, there were things that would say, we'll laugh at them because we thought, those were like, why? It's not spelled that way. Why you pronounce it that way?
Exactly, yeah.
And then you move to the States and then you realize the way you pronounce it doesn't make sense to anyone around you.
anyone.
And
Very
you're like,
true.
what did you say? Can you repeat that? Like, okay, it's time to switch up the accent and say things. You're not trying to change your accent. You're just trying to pronounce things so that people can understand you and you don't feel weird about it.
Exactly.
Boils
That's the
down
point.
to understanding. Like the last podcast, we were discussing about culture shock and how we have navigated that up to this time. I made an analogy of you being locked up in a room with someone from a different country. The person may not even speak English.
Yeah.
And you understand and speak English. And both of you may want the same thing or are waiting for the same thing. Both people will have to look for a way or find a way to communicate so that we're understanding each other and we're getting what we want. And it's just like that. So if you're in a country where your accent is different from the accent of that country, or you sound somehow different from how they sound there, for you to get whatever you want, people have to understand.
Yeah.
So it also...
It's a survival thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this is not even... We're even talking about accent here. It's deeper when you go to countries where they don't speak English.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to learn the language.
That's a different beast also.
Yeah, it's hard because if you have to survive, you need people. We have to work together to get what we want. So you have to understand or try to learn the language. So it's not like you're forming or trying to mimic or act like the other the country you find yourself in where you immigrated to. It's just how life works. We have to survive. We have to communicate. We have to understand each other for there to be peace and a successful business transaction, or even just living in harmony and amicable.
And with that said, that creates a lot of issues, right? Mental health. There's especially when you're coming from a different culture, and this is not necessarily like even moving from one part of a country, and I'll use the US as an example. If you live in the Midwest and you go to the South, the culture is different.
Very different.
We're talking within the same
US,
country.
Yes.
The culture is different. The expectations are different. So when you move, if you move from the Midwest and you go, or the South and you go to the East Coast, it's different. People talk, the accent is completely different. When you say things, people may not understand you either. And you're still within the same country, but what you're experiencing is not that much different from someone coming from a different country, right? So it's not whether it's an international relocation kind of thing, even within a country, it changes. Go to any country. As long as there's a diverse group of people, you're going to experience that level of trauma. There's a trauma that comes with it that people don't even think about.
Yeah.
When you feel isolated and you're going through a depression, now mental health, right?
Right.
And you're like, I don't know, I can't survive. Everything is so expensive. Life, I just don't understand. Because you could be around people that speak your language and still feel isolated.
Very
Right?
true.
You can be around people that everyone else is doing better in life, and you're the only person. You're looking around and you're like, why am I struggling so much?
Right.
There is no help. I don't know who to reach out to, who to lean on. So it can happen within a country. So it's not, I don't want people to think it's just international. It happens here in the US. I've met a lot of people that moved to this lovely state of Colorado because the weather is nice. We have 300 days of sunshine, and it feels great, and you can hike and do all these fun things. And they are struggling. I don't have my family around. I'm struggling here. Back home, things felt easier. Yeah, it felt easier because you grew up there. And then you move to a different place, and then you're struggling. And then the mental health we're talking about, then you start feeling lonely because, again, you're not on par with everyone else. Everyone else seems to have figured it out, or seem to be living the life you would like to live. So you feel lonely. You feel like no one sees me. And how do you come out of that? How do you fix that issue or find a way to move forward? Because almost everyone goes through something similar at a point in their life. Now, for example, I didn't come from a background where therapy was something that was talked about. So therapy is not even the first thing that comes to mind. So what I did was I worked even harder, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Right? And because you're struggling so much, and you're immune, and I've lived in different countries, different regions too in Africa. So this is not just moving to the US, moving to Southern Africa, which is different from West Africa.
Right.
I went through the same thing.
I was going to touch on that. But
Yeah, people don't understand you. Your culture is so different. Some of the things they thought was just normal was extremely offensive to me based on the culture I come from, right? Being Nigerian, we respect is so ingrained in us, and it's part of no matter where you go in Nigeria, respect is the main focus of how we function. And you go to a different country, and what you thought was disrespectful back home is acceptable over there.
Very well acceptable.
That's what happens. Psychologically, mentally, you're struggling now.
Right, to understand.
Yeah, because you don't understand why everyone around you seems to disrespect you. And everyone around you doesn't understand why you're offended by everything. What a conundrum. You're just like, all right. All right then. Too young to drink, but this is a rough life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So back to back to what we were talking about and where you left off. To what you said about regional, I moved, my own experience is moving from even within the same region, just states into states. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm telling you how they operate even in the same region. So we're saying West Coast. So I moved from a state in the West Coast to another state in the West Coast. It's different. As close as California is to Nevada, it's different. I made that move. And it's different. And moving so intercoast, I would say there's something like that within the US. So I moved from Texas to California it was different. I was shocked when I went to California and it was more welcome. It was more of
Quite liberal.
open-minded, people, and someone can walk past you and really if they smile at you, they can comment something about what they're smiling at. Like, I like such and such. I like your glasses. I like your watch. I like something. So there was that kind of, oh, this is even nice. People are even talking to
More
you. It's not like everybody's minding their business and giving the fake smile, when you smile at someone walking past you, and as soon as person passes, the face goes back to normal. So that I experienced differently from moving from Texas to California. In Texas, they don't care. Like, hey, everybody's to their own business. No, it wasn't that. Like, people's walking past someone and the person smiling at you and talking to you. If that happens, that they smile at you, it's going to change as soon as they pass you. So that's different. That's I'm even saying within. It makes you think, what's going on? This is the same country. People act differently even within the same country. And that can take a toll on you coming from a different country to that country. So the way you act in Texas is not the way you act in California.
No.
The way you act in California is not the way you act in Nevada. As close of a border they have together as bordering states, it's not the same. So that is a lot of pressure that can come at you as pressure to want to always land something here and going to a different place. You have to land a different thing. And we talked about this, that we've known a lot of people who were born in the state and don't want to move. I don't blame them, but I don't think that's the best. But if you put this into consideration, it's going to take a toll on them mentally. And going back to work, what he said, he was speaking from a work perspective. That's even something. So I served in the military, transitioning fully to civilian life. It's different.
It's another stress.
It's another stress. You have to think, how you're gonna cope going back, because you're used to one certain kind of thing or rule or way of life. And how are you going to cope? People stay in the military just because of this. And they just stay for as long as they want and retire there and die there. Or they go into a force, a work similar to what
they were doing prior.
So security or the police and all of that, which is okay. We have to realize that people cope differently with all these experiences.
Very true. Another point I'd like to chip in is everyone's tolerance kind of differs too.
Oh yeah.
Just for instance, talking about the oil field now, leaving your family 2 weeks at a time, like 2 weeks on, 1 week off, kind of a thing. Maybe before you got into the oil field, you're kind of used to being with your family 2-4-7, but all of a sudden,
Correct.
2 weeks off and 1 week just, even the 1 week, by the time, especially if you do the graveyard shift, by the time you come back, you're tired already. The first 2 days, you sleep it off just to catch up on sleep. Then maybe the third day, you're trying to let me catch up on, kids and all that. By the time, especially if you're working like me, like I was working Midland, Texas, while I was living in Oklahoma.
Oh, geez.
So that your first off day, you're traveling, especially if you're driving. So it's like 3 days off your 1 week, off. You've spent 3 days off of your 1 week. Now you just have about 4 days left. Now that 4 days, the 2 days in between, you're trying to catch up on family stuff. How you doing? Because when you're at work, you can't always communicate. You can't always catch up on family life. So you catch up, you do this, you do that. Then 2 days left, you're preparing
to go back.
So everything. So at the time, especially it depends on for me as an immigrant, it was tough for me because I wasn't used to that kind of life. So it's almost like, tomorrow I'll be going back to work now, or I'll be making that long travel, this. With time, you begin to do it. It tells on you, it tells on your health, the way you think, then you start isolating yourself a little bit, just to cope with work. And if the job itself is a kind of job where it's not really accommodating that much, but you have to put food on the table, so you have to endure. So that contributes to the whole depression thing we're talking about. So so that's why I was like, your depression, your tolerance too matters.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And the way you cope. So, like I said, everybody has
a
different
coping mechanism.
yes,
Yeah.
ways of coping with the experiences they're facing, and that's why it's not just a good thing. I've always talked about being judgmental. Seeing how someone is coping and thinking that's they shouldn't be doing that because they're coping a different way.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So you see, sometimes, like you said, we're from Nigeria, Africa. We're born there. It's not like we don't have these challenges there. We're talking about moving from, even like you said, you stayed in different regions.
Oh yeah.
So if you stayed in or were born in Lagos State, and you're moving to the north,
It's different.
it's different,
Way
totally
different.
different. Even we're talking down to food.
The food,
The
the
kind of
language, the people don't look like you.
Yes.
The environment.
Even the physical features are also different.
And this is why I want to say this, because we were taught to cope with it by working hard
Oh yeah.
or going hard at it and just facing it and don't worry about it. Just face it.
That's
know.
right.
So we have a different level of coping with these kind of things. And what I'm going to say about that is it's okay to talk to someone.
It is.
It is okay to talk to someone.
It is.
Therapy doesn't have to be talking to a doesn't have to be
licensed
therapist.
clinician or therapist.
It could be someone you respect that you can confide in and
Exactly.
can give you some kind of advice that can help you cope with this kind of experience.
Exactly. They say
So it can be a master. It can be a
pastor.
yes. Whatever. Who can you confide in? It can be a mastermind. It can be your family member. It can be your parents. It can be anybody. But talking about it helps to cope with it, and airing it out, then keeping it in, and then getting depressed, and it keeps mounting and mounting until you're crashing, and there's no going back from that. So that I would say, talking to people is just the best. Air it out. People can say one or two things that can resonate, because we're living in a wall of resonance. Yeah. And so when you resonate with a solution to your problems and you act on it, it just helps you live a better life, a quality of life. That's
true.
I just want to chip in that they said a problem shared is a problem half solved.
Right.
And that is true. And I think in certain places, therapy is seen as speaking with someone that is certified, that is licensed to listen. And because a lot of therapists just guide you. They don't really solve your problems for you. They just say, they ask you probing questions that kind of help you figure out what direction you need to go, right? But you're right. The issue with mental health is no one sees it unless you tell people about it. No one knows how deep it is.
Yeah.
Even within a marriage, people can't tell until something happens, and like, I had no idea.
That's another part of even going deep into relationships.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's really when you're struggling because you've relocated somewhere else, or people around you don't always understand. And I think this is one thing, if I could advise people out there, is understand that people can read your mind, man or woman, or whatever you identify as. No one can read your mind. And let's be honest.
It's a terrible lie if someone says I can read your mind. And
you don't want people to be able to read your mind. Do you really want to be around people that know every single thought? It is uncomfortable. There is no privacy. And we know humans don't do well if they don't feel like they have their privacy.
Yeah.
Right? We don't do well. We need privacy to a certain level. So when you're struggling and you're trying to juggle life, because we all have to do it. For most of us, it's called adulting.
Yes.
I pay my bills, it's adulting. Right. I have to do this, it's part of adulting. But how we cope is what differs.
Right.
Our tolerance level, like you said, is different, right? And have people in your corner that you trust their advice. You trust them enough that you can share what's going on in your life with.
Correct.
Have people that they're not there to make you feel good, but they tell you the truth. Yeah. And oftentimes, when you're going through something dark, you're in a dark place in your life. You need answers. Yeah, there are times, you want someone to make you feel good. But it shouldn't just stop at feeling good. If all people do is make you feel good, they're not honest with you.
Yeah.
Because honesty doesn't feel good all the time. But at least you know what direction to move. Right? How to move forward. And that is the thing. Whether you seek help or you seek counsel or advice from your pastor, your grandparents, your uncle, your aunt, and sometimes the best advice comes from the least expected places.
You're correct.
I was watching a video yesterday, just a little bit off topic. It's two guys in the ring fighting some Muay Thai, martial arts stuff. And one guy was, getting roughed up, which happens. It's what you expect.
That's how.
And he's sitting in his corner, and this little kid, probably like 9, told him what to do.
See?
This guy goes in. It's a little kid. If those two were to spar, the older guy would win for sure because of size and age and
experience.
The kid showed him the move. The guy went in, did the move, won the fight.
Right.
The advice came from a little kid. It was humble. Be humble. And I think that's the main thing. We're not humble enough to say the solution to my problem can come from any source.
Correct.
It can come from a billboard. It can come from a video. It can come from a little kid that tells you, relax.
Yeah.
It's just life.
Mm-hmm. Just like they say, inspiration can come from anywhere.
It can come from anyone.
So regardless of the age or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and there's a level of loneliness that comes, and this happens especially when you're moving, to a place where you feel like everyone is different. You feel lonely. Talk to people. We humans are extremely good at ingesting information. We take in a lot of information every second of the day, right? There's a lot we're taking in. There's just not a lot we're aware of that we're ingesting, right? Exactly. That's why they call it programming when you watch TV, because you're being programmed. You listen to music.
Right.
And before you get to the place where depression takes root, talk to people.
Right.
I talk to strangers sometimes and they share their life story and you're just like, whoa, that's a lot.
Very true.
But then I'm like, oftentimes I'm like, here's my number. Call me if you want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would rather you call me and talk to me for 30 minutes to an hour and you leave feeling good than me hearing something that happened to you terrible because you just felt like, and this is why it's nice to be kind to people.
Right.
You don't know what people are going through. You could be the last straw that breaks the camel's back, or you could be the saving grace to someone drowning. And they say a drowning man will grab on a serpent, right? If you're drowning, you grab on a snake. You don't care.
You grab on
lion's tail.
Yeah.
On the lion's tail.
You will do whatever it takes to survive. Be the soul that helps others find their way. Everyone goes through stress. Everyone has hardship at work, in your relationship, in your health. It doesn't really matter. You know, I'm naturally a healthy person overall, right? But I've had my scares. But you're just like, oh my God, I didn't see that. Or you're like, oh, this level is so low. You're like, what? I don't look like my level should be low here, but it is. You're like, okay, what does it take? Oh, you know, it's just over-the-counter vitamin D. But you need to take it. They're extremely low, you know, and then you're like, oh, geez. Because then you start learning how a deficiency in vitamin, how much it impacts your life in so many ways that you're not even aware of. You're like, I don't feel this at this app. So be the soul, be the light to those in the dark.
Yeah.
Not the person covering other people's light to feel, because you don't feel better by making other people feel like, you know, they're not worth being alive. And unfortunately, people think the only way to feel good is to dim other people's light.
Very true.
And
sorry.
No, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. And in some cases, just a mere, hey, hello, how you doing today? That's it. There are some people dying inside that they're just looking for someone to talk to. I've experienced this so many times. Just like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. A total stranger just starts pouring out their mind. And you're like, oh, I just asked how you're doing. But them, like you said, them sharing, them pouring it out, it's like they're like, you know, putting down this heavy load and, you know, relieving themselves of that burden. And you're like, oh, okay, I should be doing this more often. But sometimes it may backfire here in the US because most times everybody keeps to themselves. And if you do too much, you get sued and all that. But still, just hello, you doing okay today is enough.
Right.
Even a smile, and this is one thing people don't think about, and we've all experienced this. A smile from a stranger when you're feeling down can uplift your spirit. And it's so funny, like you're walking and somebody just looks at you and smiles. A genuine smile.
You can tell.
Not the Walmart kind of smile.
Not the smile where, and I've been in situations when I was much bigger, right? I was a lot bigger back then. And I'm right next to the gym that I go to every day. And I guess the area is quite an affluent, area. But this lady is walking towards me. She looked at me, smiled, and clenched her purse instantly. Now, she did this right in front of the gym. Now, at the time, there was no mistaking where I was going. You're like, you saw me, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's leading the gym.
Yeah.
But she saw me, smiled, and her first reaction was to clench her purse. And I don't even think she did it intentionally. And I remember looking back thinking, you could be the lady that parked the Ferrari, that I'm looking at. But what made you think that's what I want for myself? You are assuming that what you want is what I want out of life.
Yeah.
It's not. It is not. And kindness is something that people have to be told to incorporate into their daily lives now. It's a shame that we have to tell people to be kind. And it's no longer natural for humans it's natural, but I feel like now with social media, people just feel like, I don't have time to be kind.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have time to see if the people around me are doing okay. But you don't know whose life. You both have probably saved so many lives by just being you.
Right.
Right? You probably saved somebody from doing something crazy that they never saw you again to thank you and say, you know what? You just saying hi that day really saved my life. You don't know that. And it doesn't matter whether they come back.
Just listening to me.
Yeah.
You know, and not even, you don't even have to be assertive
Thank
of
you.
your own opinion.
Yeah.
Listening to people, being is it, empathic enough to understand where they're coming from.
Oh yeah.
And we're not saying you should feel what they're feeling, but listen. And we, like you said, genuinely paying attention and giving them the responses that a kind person will give them. So I was gonna put something in there to loneliness. The basic unit of a society is family, right? And we're talking about mental health. And we're talking about just us as being men. We all have kids. Every one of us sitting here has a child, at least. And when you're faced with these challenges that can take a toll on your mental health, you bring it home.
It bleeds everywhere.
Yeah.
So it affects
Very true.
the family.
Oh yeah.
And if the basic unit of the society is the family, and there is no, there is struggles within the family, which is supposed to be what should shine the light out of into the society to make, you know, to live as a very responsible member of the society.
Oh yeah.
Because it starts from home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So relationships. How does our mental health affect our own relationship up to the basic unit of the family, which is your own immediate family? So that's most essential. We're talking about kids. Having kids affects them. So
Oh, greatly.
if it is where kids are apprentices of the parents, that's where they first learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
Until they start going to school and spending time outside. But the basic first 7 years of a child is mostly emulating their parents.
Yeah.
So they see all that happens and all that goes on and how people are being treated around the home.
Yeah.
And it's going to bleed into, like you said, how they're going to perform or become as adults in the society when they grow up and leave home.
Correct.
So it is most essential that we take care of the things that really bother ourselves in ways that we've mentioned. That it doesn't have to be a licensed therapist, which is the most, that should be the go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be the first.
If you can afford it.
Yes, if you can.
I mean, not everyone can.
But it doesn't have to go to, if you can't afford it, if you think it's not for you, you can also talk to someone. Like you said, it could be your religious leader, it could be your friend, it could be your parents. It could be somebody you trust and you can rely on and confide in.
We all need trusted advisors in
That
our
is
corner.
gonna,
We all
yes,
do. You know.
that is going to be genuine about whatever output or whatever advice they're giving to you. So it is necessary in the greater picture of things, or a big picture of things, to be at least just for the society, as we have said, the basic unit is the family. So it's what goes on in the family that comes out in society, and
Oh, yeah.
that people are, yeah.
And I know you have something. I can see the look in your
Yes.
eyes. But before you say that, before you say what's on your mind, I want to say this to people, especially parents. Your kids don't stop loving you. When you are not your best version, your kids don't stop loving you.
No.
They stop loving themselves. Right? When a parent is out of alignment, and we all get out of alignment from, some more than others, but when you are out of alignment, you're out of love. Because to be in alignment is to be patient, to be loving. Love is patient, right? And once you're out of alignment, and if you stay too long and dwell in a state of complete chaos, your kids don't stop loving you. It's one of the saddest things to think about. They don't stop loving you.
Yeah.
They stop loving themselves because they think they are not worthy. Because now they don't have the necessary tools to understand that even adults struggle. Just because you're my dad, sometimes I have to tell my daughter, I'm like, as strong as I am, as big as I am, I need help too, right? I need help too. And she watches me and listens to people around me. She's watched me change my opinion on things. And we just need to remember that, like you said, every time you are out of alignment, whether it's due to trauma, stress, loneliness, depression, I mean, the list goes on and on. It doesn't only impact you. It impacts your job, it impacts your family, it impacts your kids. The issue with kids is they don't always know how to voice it out and say it in a way that it makes sense. You can fully understand what they're going through. So the damage is done at a much higher rate, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
The damage you're doing to kids,
a
it's much
deeper-
higher because they can communicate.
A deeper level.
Yeah, it's deep. And by the time they are adults, now they need to find a way to fix issues that they didn't create in their own lives. Can you imagine that? We've all been through it to some certain degree,
Right.
whether it's from our parents, our uncles, other family members that are much older than us, that there were things they did that you just made you think as an adult. Now you're like, wow, that was unnecessary.
Right.
But the trauma you experience from because the thing with trauma is you don't always remember what caused it.
Right.
You don't always even remember when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's bad enough, it bleeds. You start acting in ways that people are just like, why is this person doing this? Why is this person doing that? So it's kind of a sad thing. So I'll let you say things wherever you want to say.
So it's not like I have anything much to say. I just have this question because as a man and the head of the family, you're expected to suck up,
Everything.
be a man, to do this. You understand? Even though you're dying inside, you know. So I want us to have a little bit of time on this discussion about what is it? Why? I don't know if I should call it stigma or orientation or the thinking that a man is supposed to like be a man in all circumstances and not feel vulnerable too much. There are modern age men now, or maybe the social media kind of makes you, or movies kind of makes you feel, oh, men are now becoming more vulnerable to their spouses and all that. But in the real sense, it's not like that.
It's not. No matter how vulnerable you are to your partner,
Yeah.
a typical man probably, shares about 25% of what you're going through.
25% is too much because if you put
yeah.
yourself in that guy's shoes and you like experience it's just like to be a man by that.
I was gonna say that. Like I was gonna wait till my turn to tell you when you sent me that movie.
I read your mind.
The music. Yes, he sent me the music, and I was waiting till my turn to talk about it. To be a man is the music I want, like oh man, to listen to.
Man, shout out to that.
Yes,
that.
And not just all men, women can listen to see the perspective.
To understand their spouses better.
Where we come from or how we see things.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay, so
yeah, you can continue.
So in that regards, like, what do you think? Because we talked about therapy, but sometimes the the orientation we have about, especially people of our generation and older
Yeah. It's our generation
and
older.
older, they have this orientation that you are a man, you are supposed to suck it up. You are supposed to face your fears and all that, while hiding it from
Your loved
every
ones.
other loved ones, so people that maybe feel vulnerable and all that. So, in your perspective, sir, how do you think we can combat that? I know there are so many, so many suggestions here and there, but is it actually working?
I think it is, to a certain degree. And I think and I've thought about this for a long time. I think we as humans, we have evolved externally, right? We humans are probably one of the few creatures that we take our environment and try to change it to suit our needs, right? We have done so much. This is the best of the best we've experienced life as humans on this planet.
Yeah, this is a
Right?
leading edge.
This is
too.
this is the
This is a leading edge.
Yeah. This is the best. And it's because we've done so much. We're building AC, lighting, and all these funny things. But you know what we haven't really done? We haven't looked within. Right? We haven't fixed us from the inside out. We've done so much on the outside, and we've done it. And whatever we haven't done yet, we're working on doing it. But we haven't gone within and said, hey, and I think a lot of it is evolutionary too.
Yeah.
If you think about what it is, what being a man was like for forefathers. You came home, from way back, you had to hunt or gather, right? While the women stayed at home in the villages or in the community, they took care of the kids, they took care of the house. Yeah. The men went out to find food. You don't go back home empty-handed. You better find something. There were people that could, die. Your offspring could die, so you had to go outside and find stuff. When you're being chased by a wild animal, a puma, a lion, a tiger, you don't have time to be thinking about feelings. Because feelings will get you killed. Let's be real. Feelings will get you killed. And then we moved from that and and then we started fighting wars too. Feelings will get you killed on a battlefield. Because you're watching your friend, your brother, your dad, maybe sometimes your son getting killed in front of you. Feelings get you killed. So when you look at how we've evolved, everything outside the human experience that is evolving is external. It's not internal. So then we're now in the place where we have ACs, we drive cars, we fly, we see what's going on in Singapore live right now. Again, what have we done? We've come to a place where we've mastered the art of changing our environment and not looking within. Now, the younger generation, I think they're beginning to understand that you are not a paycheck as a man. And if all you have to offer is a paycheck, then you really have to consider what a man is. Leadership is not, provision is not just money. There's lots of wealthy people that have money to offer, and that's it. There's no leadership in that house.
Yes.
They're not raising their own kids because they don't have time for their kids. How are you a leader when the people following you can't even reach you? Is this what it is to be a leader? Just go buy your wife and kids expensive things? Where's the leadership? So we're beginning to talk, and the platform for men is slowly growing, but it hasn't grown enough. Right. The men feel safe to say, I am struggling. I have friends that are like, I need to go to therapy. I need to go see a therapist. I've seen one too. And yeah, they may say, well, you don't really have issues like most of my clients, but I'm here regardless. Because what is small to you, and you may think, I'm trying to get my clients to get to your level. And for me, it's just a conversation. I just want to know I'm doing my best.
Right.
From someone that doesn't know me, how do you think this was the right move? Yes, no. So, like you said, has it changed? Yes, slightly. Will it change? I don't know if it will ever change, but we need to stop seeing men as paychecks. We need to stop seeing men as creatures void of emotions. We are not.
Exactly.
We feel everything women feel. We need support just like women. Sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, you're so big and you're so strong. You don't have problems. Like, no, I have problems like everyone else. Cut me with a razor and see if I bleed.
Yeah.
Cut me with a razor and see if I will flinch. When I'm getting massages, it hurts. You know what I mean? Like, you have pain. I have pain. You have pain you're dealing with. We need to start seeing men as people that have emotions. And for the people around you, whether romantic partners or just people, I think we need to create a safe space that men can open up without judgment about how they feel.
Yeah.
And we need to open up spaces where women can express their feelings without being judged as well. But we need to also let men know that sharing your feelings doesn't make you less of a man.
Yeah, or being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I'm going to touch on what you said, and I'll answer his question as well, because that's a question. When we throw questions, everybody can answer, and then, vice versa. So I agree with you that when you're not in alignment as a parent, your child is not loving you. They're not just not loving themselves, and that's because I don't think it's even anything that has to do with culture and how kids are being brought up. It's mostly because parents, being a parent and us being parents now, we can now understand why or how our parents were trying to impacting us, or all the advice they were giving us, how it now applies to us now, having to do the same to our offspring, to our kids. And it's mostly do not do that. If not, this is going to happen to you. Then you can always do this in terms of getting the child to the right path. You understand?
So do it and see what happens.
Right. So we're always telling them not to do something. So they're in their mind, it's like when the parent is angry, is that they've done something wrong.
Yeah.
True.
So it also relates to when a parent is not in alignment and the behavior of the parent changes, that they can observe. It may not even be towards the child. They feel that they've done something wrong. It's just a preset notion.
Yep.
It's just a preset notion that is built in the way generations have thought their offsprings. So we're always don't. If you do that, you're gonna fall. And when you say that with a lot of assertiveness, the child knows it's wrong or feels it's wrong. And they have this kind of remorse. And it's always felt to them that they are doing something wrong.
I'm always wrong.
I'm wrong when my father is feeling this kind of way or is not happy with me. And sometimes it's not like that. but they don't have that the ability at that time as kids to understand that it may not be them. It may be something going on separately, maybe from work or even the relationship with their parents, with the parents. So I agree with that. And so that's it. Um, Alignment, we're using the word so much now. It's also trying to be in a good mental space,
Oh yeah.
even within the family.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, the kids are apprentices of their parents. They watch them. You've always taught them, don't do this, don't do that. They respect you. I'm telling you, naturally, the child born
Well, the survivor depends
of
on
you respects you and respects everything you do and want to be like.
Sure.
So he didn't, even the not said words, like the words that are not said,
Oh yeah. Body language.
yeah, body language, they pick on those and sometimes interpret it differently the way they understand it better that they've done something wrong. So I agree with that. So you see how that takes a toll on the child you're bringing up. So that's why we have to be aware of that and how we act around the kids.
You have to be very
I
cognizant
know
of
some
how you
people
do things.
don't care, and some people will say, "Man, the kid has come. I still have to live my life. I still have to behave the way I'm supposed to behave. I don't have to change anything." But like we go back to the fact that the basic unit of society is the family, and whatever happens out there that you don't like can also come from your family.
True.
So if you don't behave right or try to at least, we're not saying fake anything, that's just the right way because you like things that are good and you like to see people act well outside and to you. So how are you bringing up yours to act to people and to others?
That's such a great
So
point.
it is something we have to put into consideration. Back to you, your question, the struggles of men and how we're supposed to stomach every challenge we face and experience and still come up as nothing has happened. And we still have to bring out that smiley face and still take care of the family and all of that. If it has changed, if right now you said social media or the new generation of humans
Yeah.
are seeing it differently that we should now become vulnerable. It's okay to be that. And that, you can still cry as a man. I would say yes, it has changed. Well, it changes. Like we can't hold change. Change is constant, and we are evolving.
Sure.
And like you said, we evolved far so much externally than internally.
Oh yeah.
But I will also argue that we've also changed internally a little bit. Uh, if you have to compare how we've changed externally to how we've changed internally, it's just like that. Like it's you can't compare it because we change externally faster than we change internally. Sometimes we even ignore it. But I would say yes, because there are also uh, women, females, that understand this, and a few of them, have changed and can understand how a man can feel or the shoes we're in. A few. So those are the thoughtful ones. It's not a lot. You don't see them everywhere, but those set of females that understand and are thoughtful and can support their man. So we've all been probably in relationships where we have had partners that were not thoughtful. They were oblivious about your feelings and that you should stick it up or stuck it up and whatever you face, you're a man. And probably because we grow, we can't lie. we've also been in relationships where we were also not thoughtful of
Oh,
someone
yeah.
else's situation.
Oh yeah.
But it is more, I agree that it can feel that nothing has changed because it is more attention given to the women.
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, Africa, where we're from, we have the Department of Women Affairs.
Yeah.
We don't have the Department
No.
of Men Affairs.
Men are the people who know all the affairs, so let's just give the women a
We
little
don't
bit.
have the Department of Men Affairs. And you have to understand what the Department of Women Affairs do to understand that there should be at least some provisions for men as such.
Exactly.
Because women go through a lot. I won't lie.
Yeah, women go through
I've
a
never
lot.
been a woman in my whole life. I don't know if I've reincarnated. But
I
in
get what
this
you're saying.
existence, in this lifetime, I can't tell you I know or I've been a woman or I know how a woman feels or what they go through. You understand? But I can at least understand from communication, communication key. Communication, talking to people, like we said. You can understand what they're going through by them telling you, but you've not experienced it. It's vice versa. So, but there are some thoughtful little few who can see it the way it is as we're seeing it, even if not exactly, but can understand and be supportive to you. That's where when you have a spouse that is thoughtful, you don't need to run for therapy sometimes because we're not always...
Can be handled in-house.
Yes.
Thank you. I was going to say
We're
that.
not always not aligned at the same time. One person, she can be not aligned and she has you to talk to, and I cannot be on and I have her to talk to. So a little bit of change, not maybe noticeable because now a lot of them, we still see people take their problems and air it on social media from their family problems and say all that kind of stuff to themselves, all the bad stuff you can never think of online and drag themselves. But yes, it is not noticeable, but it is there.
It is
I will say that. It's just, again, what I'm going to say is that not all of us, even right now, may have the luxury or be blessed with having spouses who are thoughtful.
Yep.
So it doesn't have to be that it has to be your spouse to go through. If you don't have a thoughtful spouse, you can also talk to someone else. And so that you are handling the situation where within the relationship and the family where it's not going to affect the child, or it's not even going to affect you so much such that the person can now take themselves away and let you be.
That brings me to this question now, because the main reason why I asked this question was to circle back on resilience. Now, if you say it works in this modern age, do you think it affects a man's resilience in terms of, okay, I think the women are getting used to me being vulnerable now. Now I don't have to do as much, or I don't have to.
That's a good question.
So, do you think it affects or reduces a man's resilience in general?
Yes and no. I think...
Sorry, before you continue, because there's this notion that this generation, not ours, like maybe later generations, they are beginning to be soft in quotes, like, not being as strong or as resilient as men of old days. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think if we define men as, if we see a man or we define men as their struggle, then being in therapy, mental health becomes a weakness. if the definition of a man is directly tied to the amount of struggle you've experienced or overcome, then mental health, why do we care about men's mental health?
Sure.
Because then every man should suffer as much as humanly possible without dying. We have to understand that we're not designed to just suffer. Because our suffering, like we've talked about for a while now, doesn't just impact us. It impacts those around us more than we are aware of, right? So I think to a certain degree, lazy people will be lazy people. Strong people will be strong people. I think again, you don't have to confide in your partner. And this is not just man to woman or man to man, just humans. If you don't want to confide in your partner because there's no emotional, psychological safety there, seek help somewhere else.
Right.
You are, if you're not, because if you are stressed, you're depressed, you feel lonely, you feel isolated, you're not in alignment with yourself. How can you lead the children? Whether it's man or woman, it doesn't, at this point, let's even take gender out of it. If you're not in alignment, you are not giving people your best self. So what good is it to say, this guy is soft? And that's the thinking we're trying to change. I, as a man, should feel safe to say I'm not okay.
Right.
I'm not. Now, if I'm telling you I'm not okay because I don't have a Ferrari in my garage, now that's a different issue. Now we have to start thinking like, what do you think it is to be a man? But to be a man is more than just that. You love, you nurture, you protect. Being a man doesn't make you devoid of feminine energy.
No.
And feminine energy doesn't mean you're a woman. We need to understand that being human, regardless of how you identify, we possess masculine and feminine energy. Right? And they both function differently.
Dig down into biology. It's the chromosomes of your mother and your father that were all made up.
Exactly.
Regardless of your sex that you came out as.
The women.
Whether a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter whether you're man or woman. There's masculine.
You can't separate that.
You can't be like, I'm only going to dwell in my masculine energy. It's what people refer. There's nothing like toxic masculinity. It doesn't exist. It is people that are masculine. When you refer to someone that's been toxic masculine, it's a person that dwells in the masculine energy and are scared to be vulnerable. It's a place of weakness that I'm a man and I'm so strong and I'm going to I'm oppressing other people. There is a fear, because I saw a video yesterday, and this goes for, let's talk about, man, woman, doesn't matter. And people are like, I'm alpha. If you have to tell people you're an alpha, you're not. Let's just start there. You will never, because everybody that says they're alphas, they always compare, especially men, they compare themselves to a lion. I have not till this day watched a program on Animal Planet, Natural Geographic. I don't care what it is. I've never seen a lion roar to let people know I'm a lion. I need to, you, the gazelle that I'm going to eat for lunch, I need you to know I'm a lion. No, it doesn't happen. A lion doesn't need to impress anyone.
Yeah.
When we know there's something about the aura, the energy that animal emanates that let you know that we're not on the same level.
Yeah.
This lion was drinking water from a river. This is the best example of what an alpha is, if there's really such a thing. It's a social construct, but let's go with it. This is what masculinity means to me. Is drinking. A crocodile comes up the way they normally attack, because they come close and they just. came up. This lion did not flinch. Just continue. The crocodile was like, "Oh boy, I'm out of mine."
Yes.
Went back in.
Right.
It didn't announce. The lion didn't have to roar to let this
Let him know.
animal know that I'm not your prey. In fact, if depending on the day and
Depending on how I feel.
you could be lunch, right? You could be lunch today.
Right.
But if you have to announce and you have to brag and you have to show your chest is all puffed up and you're looking down at them, you're not.
At all.
You're not. I think men should be able to feel. Men should be able to say, I'm not okay. Going to therapy, seeking help, confiding in your partner should not be. We shouldn't even be having this conversation whether it makes us weak, because it doesn't. Because I'm a better partner to my partner when I'm in alignment.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah.
My leadership is not to just work, provide, and she goes out and lives her best life, and I'm dying at home, and she's partying, and she's doing all this, she's shopping, buying all these fancy things. What kind of a life is that? That is a worthless life, really. Your existence doesn't matter to anyone around you, and it doesn't even matter to you. We are men. We struggle like everyone else. If I need therapy to be my best self, it should be seen as going to therapy is a sign of strength.
Right.
I know
Correct.
that I'm not strong enough in this area.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to seek help.
Yes.
It takes a certain amount of strength to say, I am weak in these areas. When you go to your job, you know the areas you're weak.
You're right.
You know your weaknesses at job, right? What do? If you find someone that can help you, you lean towards them.
Yeah.
So why is that okay to your job that doesn't care if you die tomorrow? That work will continue.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're giving all of yourself to a person, to an institution, to a company, to an organization that doesn't care if you're there tomorrow. I mean, they'll miss you. Don't get me wrong. You do a good job enough. They'll miss you. But the job doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Why is it that everyone else gets the best version of us, but us? True. That's why.
But you didn't answer if it can be used as an excuse.
Can it be used as an excuse? Anyone can. I could say the reason I'm not a billionaire today is because I relocated from a different country. Anything can be an excuse.
Or because I work too much, I think I should relax since my spouse understands that.
You know what? If you need the break, I worked for a company in the past.
Okay.
And the wife was the president of this company. And she was one of my coaches, my mentors. And her husband was a stay-at-home dad. And she never spoke poorly of him. Because her career she was advancing at a very, unusual pace at work that she just said, you know what? And he had a good job before. He wasn't making peanuts. This guy had a really good job. But the wife's career was so good, and she was, it started around when we started pushing women into management. She's like, I'm thriving. One of us needs to be stay at home. And he took the back seat. It is so funny, and I'll say this, because I think it's so funny that we feel like men need to do everything. We see a lot of the celebrities that are with men that out-earn, and yet the average woman wouldn't date a man that she out-earns by merely $5,000. So can I use that as an excuse? Yes, I can. But if you're going to use everything that is not perfect in your life as an excuse, you should be in therapy. Period.
Nice answer.
Yes. So I agree with him. When you say anything, people can find anything and everything as an excuse to do or say whatever they want to do. To answer your own question is, sorry, can you? Yeah. So I remember I recall the question. Say, can that be used as an excuse because they're a little supportive partners that understand
They understand
that,
you.
okay,
That's okay.
talking from a man perspective.
Yeah, does it make you now feel that you should like relent a little bit?
So every person is their person based on their values, regardless. So if you're the person that's going to take that as an excuse to relent, then your values, I will say, go back to it and review. If your values are set on being the man that you're supposed to be, being the man that's supposed to provide, be the man that's supposed to be there emotional for your kids, be there, or your spouse and your spouse as well. Be a man, a man. We're not saying be perfect. There's no perfect. But you understand what I mean. Be that responsible man. Yeah. The support you get from an understanding spouse or a supportive spouse is only going to make you better. It's
supposed to make you better. It's supposed to make you better.
Based on your values. It's only going to make you better based on your values than make you give excuses.
True.
Yes. So you are the person. You are that person regardless of the better support you're getting from a partner. So it doesn't change you. It just makes life better. In the sense that where you will be anxious of things that normally oh, I have to provide this, I have to do this. Then you have, and even sometimes when you even do that, it doesn't happen because you're not, some situations, anything can happen. You can think this is a set in stone, and it's not. But that's life. It happens. But a supportive person will chip in and help you. But you weren't given an excuse. You were still working on it.
Yeah.
You understand? So it makes life better for you, but not you giving an excuse of saying, "Oh, next time, okay, because she helped me this time."
I'm just going to
No. The question is coming from a context of men of old versus men of now.
Well, the men
still
of
boils down to values.
But again,
men of old,
depending on how the children are raised. Okay, I guess you know.
There's no, all human beings should have values. There's no, what do you operate on?
You have,
what's your purpose? Why are you doing
it's a set of values that guide.
It drives you.
It drives you. That's your driving
force.
That's
what makes you feel.
This is why when men don't have strong values,
right,
they're scary.
Then there's excuses.
We've seen wealthy.
Then that will not just be the only excuse because of the support. There's a lot of things that they can see and just take and give excuse for.
I'm not going to mention names, but we know wealthy men in this country that have done things that were shocked by. The people you've heard things about, you're shocked. It's values, in a way, and if you adhere to your values, they keep you in check. When we start removing and I hate the fact that in this modern day world we live in, we're associating values with earning.
Riches, yeah.
I am a man of value. Not because I make $1 million a year.
No.
Because of my value. What's your value? And everyone said, it's always about money. The value a man brings is way more than money. It has nothing to do with your financial resources.
True.
If you have the right information and the right opportunities and you're in the right state of mind, certain things will happen. And the right times, certain things will happen.
Right.
We need to move away from, even that question is kind of laced with that as well, where your value as a man is tied to wealth, material things.
So we have to go deep into that. We have to go deep into that value word. It's not what we mean by value. Is not. So if I ask a man, if you ask me what's my value, I can even pick up which is embedded in me. that was my value before I knew about the Marine Corps value. It's honor, courage, commitment. There's a lot of things that can be of value than material
things.
wealth.
Yeah.
So that, if your value drives you, people don't understand the meaning of value.
Anyone can be rich.
So,
Whether
yes.
you have the values, there are people that are wealthy, they don't have
Right.
the morals and the values.
The morals.
They're so far apart from one another. And we see that play on international stage. And yet we keep thinking value because I'm a numbers person. I have a math degree, right?
Right.
Numbers, we think value because of numbers.
Numbers, yes.
But
in terms of
value,
numbers, yeah.
when we talk about humans, value is not money.
It's not money.
It's what you bring, what you offer to society.
Society.
So
That's it.
if you're asking, is me being vulnerable, does that reduce me as a man? No.
No.
And if it does, and which it does for most people, we need to change those narratives.
The narrative, yeah.
Because
Right.
it's not fair to men to say,
People have to be re-educated
Are you
on
just-
what it should mean.
it should
yeah.
be. We can't say you need to suffer and you need to hold your feelings. And the numbers are wild. When we see men, what happens when men are out of alignment? It is bad for society, period. When men are out of alignment, leadership goes away. Provision. And when we talk about, I'm not talking about just money, providing for your family. You can't be emotionally there. You're not emotionally there for your children, your spouse, your community when you're out of alignment.
True.
Right? So, does this happen? Yes. And as immigrants, we need to understand that no matter where you go, your values need to stay the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Core values.
yeah.
They need to stay.
It's your
the same.
driving
They don't
force.
change. Your core
Values
values
should
don't
not
change.
change.
It doesn't change for anything. It's what drives you. So resilience can be your value, your core value, because you are built that way, and that's what you think is right.
Right, yeah.
Because you fall and stand up and keep going. If that's your core, is part of your core value, you wouldn't find an excuse in support you get from someone. Regardless. So who will find excuse in that will find excuse in anything,
Yeah.
whether given or not given.
True. And there's a saying, he who stands for nothing will fall for everything. Right? So,
Yeah, I don't have a spec. I don't have a spec.
Yeah.
Anything goes.
you have no driving force. You have no engine. You have no motor. You have nothing that keeps you on track. It's like a drunk person on the highway going full speed. That's what it's like. You have no morals and no values. You're just all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, you may not crash, but you're not driving straight. You know, you're hoping you make it to your final destination.
Right.
And,
So,
if the environment you find yourself kind of deprives you of, or kind of gives you that makes you kind of deviate from your value, then you're in the wrong place.
then you have to re-examine your values.
that's
Are those
where-
truly my values?
So
to begin
that's
with?
where you feel uncomfortable because your value wouldn't change.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
So when you're thinking you have to do something other than what your values are, your core values are, then yourself, I bet you're going to feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And you would feel very uncomfortable up to the extent that even if you try to deviate from that, it's not going to work. You're not going to be happy. You will either take yourself out of that situation or that place and go continue with what drives you.
Yeah.
What drives you makes you feel alive. So when you don't feel alive is where you have all the troubles.
Yeah.
Comes.
Again, it's being out of alignment, right?
Yes.
And it's funny you said, if you are, and I'll put it this way: the people that are chameleons, wherever environment they go, they're just they're blenders.
Yeah.
They're the fair weather fans. Oh, Super Eagles won. I'm supporting them. This person won. I'm supporting. They never have a stance.
Yeah.
Those people are like trash in the wind. They're blown everywhere. They have no sense of direction. They have no sense of it. It's a sense of worth. When you have no sense of love, you have no self-love, you don't love yourself, you don't value yourself, you will bend to the will of others. I have no doubt. People that don't love themselves will bend to the will of others, whether they like it or not, because what keeps your core values what makes them core and what keeps them in place is a sense of self-worth. If you think you're worthy, and that doesn't mean you're perfect. No one is perfect. But if you feel worthy and you feel like I love myself enough, first of all, you'll be honest with yourself. You're like, these are my areas of weaknesses. Then I need to work on that. Whether that's therapy, whether it's health, whether it's career, you will do something. But if you don't love yourself, you have no self-worth to begin with.
Solid foundation.
You have no foundation. So anyone comes and tells you, I need you to go do this, you do it. I need to go do that, you do that. And the people that's their entire existence.
Right.
Is they have no moral compass. They just exist in this world. And what we're saying is find yourself. I personally, don't get me wrong. If somebody gave me $1 billion today, I'll take it.
You change your values.
I won't change my values, but I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
But do I have a desire to be a billionaire? No, I don't. Because what matters to me the most are the relationships that I have, the people I have, the friends, the family. I want to grow up and see my kids, hopefully grandkids, do something. I want my kids to do better than me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not important to me to have certain things, but what's important is that I leave the people that I've touched. I live and I leave them better than when I found them. That is important to me.
True.
And that guy, that's my guide.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. To your question, if someone gives you $1 billion, you take it, right?
And says,
everybody's going to take it.
Everyone's going to take it.
But is your values, your core values going to change?
No.
And that's because it's what drives you, is what keeps you moving. And when that $1 billion is gone, you still have to stick to it
You have to look yourself in the mirror when
right.
you wake up.
You may even need your values to even go through the 1 billion.
Right. Because really, $1 billion can come, and it can come tomorrow. Who knows? You still deal with some personal problems, internal problems. It's not going to solve those ones.
Exactly.
So going back internally and doing the laundry is the work.
The shadow work.
Yes. So that when the $1 billion comes, then you just enjoy life.
You are a blessing.
You're a blessing
to the world around
and
you.
everything. So because we believe in abundance, or we just like we've been using the word alignment. We need to align to be able to
appreciate abundance. You have to be in alignment.
And to feel the abundance that you are surrounded with. So it's not the figure, like we said, value. What's your value? It's not the figure. It's not the materialistic figure or wealth that you've accumulated. That is your value. Is deeper than that. So my rounding up statement, or yes, it's going to be that there's a plethora of resources, civilian, military, that I know haven't been served in the Marine Corps. A plethora of resources and hotlines that you can call if you need to talk to someone about anything. And nationally, there's also a hotline, and you can find out online. You can Google that. If that's the route you should take, I would say that should be the first, like, seek medical, medical licensed therapist that can walk you through. But if that's not, and we were also told, even in the military, that sometimes your therapist you're working with you may not be feeling that they're doing anything that's helping your situation, you can always change.
Yep.
You can always go to a different one, and the person may work well. So it's just like every other job. We don't forget about licenses and certificates. There are people who know better than people, or who put more time and attention in what they do, and they do it better than the other people. So it doesn't have to be one size fit all approach, or if your therapist you're talking to is not doing well, or it's not giving you the best results
Guidance.
you're seeking, you can try a different person. And we said, apart from that, you can talk to family members that you trust and can confide in, religious leaders, whoever you think that comes to your mind that you say, oh, I can share this with, and I may feel better from either them listening or either them giving you their 2 cents of advice or anything that they want to give you. So talk to your supportive spouse if you have one, and if you don't have one, it doesn't have to be that spouse. You can talk to someone else outside.
I want to say something very funny. I say it doesn't have to be your spouse. You can talk to another spouse that you have somewhere else.
I didn't say that.
I just thought of that.
Yeah. That's funny. It's and that's true. It's my thing is in my closing kind of. I would say prioritize your mental health above all.
Right.
It will do you more good than you can ever imagine. Having a healthy mind will do you a lot of good. You'll stop this comparison game where you're comparing yourself to other people. You realize you're enough. If you are enough, you show better for people. Because when you feel like you're enough, you're also honest with yourself to a certain degree. Like, here I need help, and you seek the help that you need. Whichever way you choose to do that, that's entirely up to you. I will also mention that we live in a world where there's a lot of division, there's a lot of, issues, and I think both men and women need to come together and just realize we're changing. We're constantly evolving, right? As beings. And men need women as much as women need men. And we need to come to a place where we're healthy. Healthy for our kids, healthy for our community, for ourselves. And there's a lot out there, like you said, there's a ton of resources. And I would urge men to start seeking help. I mean, I hope this video touches a lot of people and we get a lot of comments and people talk about, things they're having issues with, and, people will comment and help them. But even for women, there are women too that feel like they can find help.
And maybe sometimes where the stigma comes in is when you use the word help.
Yeah.
It's like you're already sick.
Yeah.
And you have a big sickness.
And that's
Or
true.
you found
And
one
then
thing.
you need help. It is not so much of a help thing.
It's a growth thing.
Yes.
We're growing.
It is like talk to someone. That's what we say. I like to say talk to someone, communicate with someone. Don't see it as a help. Because when you start seeing it as help,
I'm weak, that's why I need help.
right?
I'm suffering, that's why I need help.
The stigma sticks, and it's like, oh, this person has a mental health issue, and all of that, which is like this stigma.
But the truth is, when your leg hurts, what do? You take medication.
Right.
Ibuprofen, whatever it is people take, Tylenol, the Nigeria, you take Panadol or something, you take medication to help.
Right. I'm trying to make people, not them, people and us understand that, just like your analogy, if something hurts, you want it to stop hurting, and
Seek
you
help.
do something about it.
Yeah.
Just the same for your mind.
Yeah, so it's not so much of, oh, you're now the worst, or you're going to be crazy and walk on the street and not lose yourself or lose your mind. That stigma is what people, especially even from Africa, will think when they're telling people they're going to seek help. Even here.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want people to think it's not a weakness.
I'm not crazy. I'm not this. I'm not that. it's this. It's that. No, we're not saying that. It's just taking care of what you should take care of. And mentally, we should be taken care of. Just as we take care of our physical health.
It's so important that we take care of our minds because everything falls in line. You could be in the most awful place in your life, but if your mind is right, you understand it will pass. These too shall pass.
Right.
So, for those listening, take care of your mind. It's just, trust me, everything else will fall in place eventually. Take care of your mind. Take care of the people around you. Don't look at people based on financial means, what they make. Treat people with kindness because you don't know which soul
basic human dignity.
Dignity, right?
Yeah.
And for people that are relocating from one place to another, remember that you will go through some challenges. Everyone that's done it before you, that will do it after you, will go through something similar. How? It's unknown. It's individually based, and it depends on you and how you see the world. But don't see life as this is happening. Life, it's not happening to you. It is happening for you. Right? When you start looking at the world like that, it is happening for me. You realize there are a lot more things in your control. There are a lot more things going right in your life than you think. So be the person, be the example you want to see in the world. And for me, that is the main thing. Be the example you want to see in the world.
Yeah. So to wrap it all up, thanks for listening. And just to chip in a little bit, it's therapy now is easy, can be easily accessed anywhere right now, especially from the comfort of your couch at home. And just make sure you keep the body and soul together. Keep your mind right at all times. And don't forget to subscribe, comment. You can even chip in, what you think mental health is all about in general. And with that, stay blessed. And we out.